feelings that people have in the space. And I mean, it's a moment in time that you're tuning into, where I think I'm just on a different vibe and picking up on a different time where it is more pleasant.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, right? That each of us will pick up on what we need to pick up on in the space, right? And so sometimes it's exactly the same thing, and other times it's whatever you need to know, and whomever you might need to help, and whomever I might need to help, or what I might need to.
So in this episode, we talked to Marianne about her experience on Ghosts of Dufferin County and Beyond. It's a TV show that I've had the pleasure of being able to be a guest appearance on when she's on location for psychic investigation and, as we say, ghost busting.
Yes, and the show is on Rogers Cable. A new season is starting in January.
Yeah, we're going into the third season, so that's exciting.
So hi everyone, we're back with Marianne Kennedy for part 2. And today we're going to talk about the show that both of you are on, called Ghosts of Dufferin County. So can you tell us a little bit about the show and what it's all about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I came up with the concept for this show, I think about 4 years ago, and it hasn't really evolved from what the original concept was, which is kind of cool. It's evolved slightly in that I have new people coming in and that type of thing, and the last couple seasons Dawn's been with me for on location stuff, which is fantastic, and everybody loves her, including me. So the show takes place in 2 settings. One is in studio, and so I'll just interview interesting guests that contribute in some notable and good way to the Canadian spiritual community. And so I do that, and then we do on location shooting too. And so we get called out to locations that have, suspicious paranormal activity, and folks want to know what it's all about, and then other folks want to know what it's about and help them. And so we go out and we investigate, those strange things that happen, and 100% of the time we're able to understand what's going on there, and then where our assistance is needed. We can do anything like a spirit releasement, so a spirit rescue where we have a soul, a discarnate being that has not moved on with its journey but needs to, and both Dawn and I will do that releasement work. And then other times we just do an energy clearing, and other times we do nothing because the person that we are there assisting just is curious and would like to know but doesn't want to sort of disturb anything from the current state, and that's of course their choice to do that. So we'll just go do an investigation and pass along that information. Sometimes I like to bring students along as well, and so sometimes I'll be teaching a psychic investigations workshop, and I think twice we've included that in some form of filming where then we bring the students on a location to test out their newly acquired skills to see how good are you at this so far. So that's always interesting and fun, and that's sort of the premise of it. We tend to visit locations in this geographic region, so that would be Dufferin, Caledon, Orangeville, Erin, Wellington County, lots of Wellington County locations. We have a couple that we just filmed last week, which is pretty exciting. We'll have the full sort of season 3 starting in January, and I think that's 8 episodes. So that's what we're doing.
And can you tell us maybe a clearing that you did that was something that was really memorable or different?
Yeah, sure. I do get asked that one all the time. Let's see. I'll pull Dawn into this one because she was there for this one. Each of us, between Dawn and I, we respond differently to different vibration and different energy in the room. Sometimes we respond the same. So each of us can be different that way. But one in particular, we were at the Bell Fountain General Store. And when we came into the basement there, both Dawn and I, our teeth started chattering. We became absolutely frigid, and our bodies were shaking and feeling nauseous. Feeling also a little bit sweaty at the same time. So a lot of strange sensations happening at the same time. And when we opened a freezer, which is where we found an energy that didn't belong there and actually had been mischievous, causing some water issues down there. Not usually as sensationalized as it can look in things like Ghost Hunters TV and things like that. But we definitely had some resistance. It definitely took a lot of power on our part to do that clearing. And I do believe that if someone were less experienced going up against that, I don't think it would have been so easy to clear that being out of that space, but we did. But there's a very physical reaction and response to the energy of this ghost that was in this space, that to a lot of folks would probably freak them out. And so, then we respond from a place of power. We also respond from a place of compassion and understanding, because even though, these souls don't need to be here, their time has come and gone, they are still souls. They're still made of the same things that we are made of. They've just sort of lost their way a little bit. And, when I was doing an interview with Jackie Dennison, a couple of months ago. Jackie Dennison's from Rescue Mediums, which is like a hugely successful Canadian show. We were talking about this, that, we can be frightened by a lot of things, and folks that, when you don't know the whole picture, or you don't understand all the components, it can be frightening when we're dealing with something you can't see. But it is important to understand that those beings too, however sort of sometimes misguided, disoriented, misunderstood, or sometimes actually quite malevolent, if we approach them from a space of some level of understanding, maybe not agreement, but understanding, the dialogue, the conversation, the releasement often goes better, because we're approaching them from a space of, non-volatility. And oftentimes on big sensationalized shows, it sort of looks like, you must leave, this space, and it's not really how it goes, because, the truth of the matter is, and, Dawn knows this, is that you can't make anybody release their attachment to the physical world. You can't make anybody do it. They also have free will choice. So our job as mediums in that capacity is to really enter into a dialogue, enter into a conversation. And we also never do it on our own. We have helping spirits and guides and angels helping us too. But we really enter into some kind of a dialogue, quote unquote, with the ghost or the non-transition spirit person, to help them understand what their options are, and to help them understand the true nature of the universe, which doesn't include judgment, because that's often a part of why they don't want to release, is that they may have had misdeeds or misgivings in this life, and they're afraid of what they encounter afterward. So yeah, I could go on forever about this topic, but that sort of gives you a little bit of insider background in terms of what we're doing behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. And maybe what are some other reasons that a spirit or soul would be attached to the physical world?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Sometimes they're attached to a person still remaining here in the physical world. I've encountered a lot of spirits, not even in rescue work, just even in mediumship, when I first communicate with a spirit that actually hasn't transitioned, but they do belong to a client of mine. Sometimes they actually are quite worried about their person that's left here, that they're not doing okay, they're not going to be okay. And then I have to enter into dialogue with them about the soul journey, and that, this is something that's important for them. It's important for, them as well, here and on the other side. So sometimes they're attached to someone here. Other times there's a location that they feel, some proprietary connection to, like it's their space, and they aren't okay with passing it on to the next group of people. I actually just did a clearing this week. That was the subject matter behind that. And that can be one. A lot of the time, interestingly enough, they do not know that the physical body has ceased to exist. And it's a sort of confusion state. And it's not one that for us here in the physical world, we say, that's so easily comprehended. You're dead, right? You don't have the physical body isn't operating anymore. But sometimes it's not, and can I explain to you why that becomes a confusion? I can't, but I have encountered it on more times than I can count, that they are like, I'm what? What do you mean? There's another option? We did an episode last week, and where we encountered a little girl, and when I had let her know that there's like this pathway for her, she was like, what pathway? What are you talking about? This is it, right? Mm-hmm. No, this is not it. And so she really didn't understand that her journey had a space to go to. So she just remained grounded in that space. So she was a grounded soul to that space simply because she didn't know what else to do. So sometimes that can happen. And, what we're doing here is we're trying to find language to describe all of these infinite possibilities of why this can happen to a soul. And so, you can't exhaust. I could go on and on about a number of reasons, but these would be the most common ones. That's what I would say what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I highly recommend checking out Marianne's website and Facebook, and we will include links below, as well as links to the Ghost of Dufferin County episodes, so you can watch Marianne and I in action. So thank you so much again for being here with us, and we'll see you all again.